The World Anti-Doping Agency has confirmed that 23 Chinese swimmers had tested positive for a banned drug ahead of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The agency eventually accepted claims made by China by China's anti-doping agency that the results were due to substance contamination. Sports lawyer Tim Fuller has spoken out following the revelation, highlighting the double standards in how some athletes are treated. Tim, who represented Australian swimmer Shayna Jack, joins us now. Tim, great to see you. I agree with you. There's a bit of a double standard here. Are you talking about essentially that they're given the benefit of the doubt, their names were kept secret, in other instances they're not?
Yeah, I think, Laura, the biggest concern is the secrecy that shrouds this whole case. When any athlete in the world tests positive to a banned substance, they are automatically stood down, and then the process kicks in. And that process can take a period of time, as people are aware about. But in this case, we're finding out 3 years later that 23 athletes were held to be not at fault, so zero fault. No fault findings are very rare to start off with, but they are always publicised. We are always aware of who's been stood down provisionally. In this case, there's a lot of questions still to be answered.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Peter Bowl as well. He'd probably be aggrieved by finding out this information as well today.
Oh, look, absolutely. Like, what he went through was, horrendous. But we've had other situations where athletes, then are subjected to appeals by WADA. We've had football clubs like Essendon that were subjected to appeals. In this case, the decision that was made, as you point out, by the Chinese anti-doping agency, has been waved through by WADA. They have looked at this and they've said no case to answer. It's very strange because they have a substantial period of time, around 45 days, before they can file an appeal. In this case, it seems that it's been waved through pretty quickly.
What do you suspect has happened here? Was there a little bit of, for want of a better term, politics at play?
Well, I think that there were some impediments. WADA couldn't go in and, for example, inspect the kitchen where the alleged contamination occurred. As to what degree of laboratory documentation that they provided, it's a little bit unsure at this time. But, they had the opportunity, if there was any hesitation, any doubt, to refer this to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Now, as people are aware, that's independent. It's an independent jurisdiction. And the CAS could have independently, examined this to see if the decision by the Chinese anti-doping agency stacks up. But that didn't happen. So it's a mystery.
So there seems to be an absence of standard practice here. Can you have a standard practice that would make it more equal or more fair, or does there have to be that degree of subjectivity on a case-by-case basis?
There's always discretion that, can be applied, but however, you make a good point. The reporting of a decision such as this, 23 athletes with a no-fault finding, that is in the rules. There is reporting obligations on behalf of not just WADA, but also World Aquatics as International Federation. On this occasion, that didn't take place. Why are we finding out about this 3 years after the event, and why is it being kept secret? If WADA was so confident in the decision that was made by the Chinese anti-doping agency, they should have announced that decision, publicised it, and people could judge then that it was valid.